about keeping the promises that you make to yourself. If you say you're going to do something for 21 days, then do it for 21 days. If you say you're going to make this particular promise to yourself or to other people, hold to that particular promise. Keeping your promises is the best way to show that you are a consistent person. And one of the things that allows for every single person to garner a better relationship is consistency. Well, welcome to another episode of As a Man Readeth. This is Trey D.
And Goober.
And we are finishing up, I think, a good #1 well, it is a bestseller, actually, officially. Deion Sanders. What is it again? Elevate and Dominate. 21 ways to win on and off the field. We're in chapter 15, man. Let's go. Let's go. This is
keep the main thing, the main thing.
Yeah, man.
And we had an offline conversation that we'll have on Patreon later. Prime, let me tell you something. His kids is his main thing. That's what really hit for me. Not necessarily reading the book, I'll say that. But after having a conversation that me and Trey just had about LeBron James's son coming into the league, and some people don't like that, and we can't figure out what in what world would you not help your child?
I don't understand it. I'm still lost about it.
It's LeBron and Bronny, and well, he shouldn't be. Okay, time out. Let's go back to what you said. The Lakers. Who owns the Lakers? We were like, oh, the Buses. Okay. How long have they owned the Lakers?
How many people of the family work at the Lakers?
In the front office.
What do we talk about, y'all? What are we talking about? This is it's the same. So I say the same thing about gentrification.
Okay.
Nobody likes gentrification unless it's them. They're like, wait, I don't like this. But if it's my Starbucks, if it's my Starbucks, if it's kind of like if I brought the new restaurant, like, what are we talking about? And you could tell so this will be envy if we had to categorize what the emotion was. Like, that's what you're seeing. It's not jealousy because you're not trying to be in the same relationship. It is envy because it is, and truthfully, it's covetousness because you probably really want what they have, but you have a totally different story. You have a totally different message. You have a totally different purpose. Everything is intertwined at some particular point, but that's their journey. You don't even know what that journey could be doing. Let's say, and he has a whole nother son. Bryce is on his way. And you think Bronny is okay? Have y'all seen Bryce? Hey, that boy, as Deion say, he a dog. He a dog. That boy, because it's that younger brother thing. Like, you know what? Okay. You know what? I'm gonna show you. And I think that's what we experience. Let's get into the book.
All right, man. First of all, he was saying some of his takeaways for this chapter. I'll just get to it. Was don't buy into the illusion of multitasking as the be-all, end-all way of doing business. Basically, put most of your energy into your most important task. Keep the main thing the main thing. So he was also talking about, and I'm going to go through a couple more, determine your priorities. Consider your values, goals, strengths, and weaknesses.
Yep.
Right? Then he says distractions can knock you off the path to success, so you've got to stay disciplined and organized. Then 4, keep it simple. Get all that clutter out the way, which I'm learning in real life right now. And no matter how difficult your situation seems, there's always a way to chase your dream. So you have. What you about to say? Where you going?
Because when I listened to it when he did this part, he was like, "Ooh, let me say that again." No matter how difficult the situation seems, there's always a way to chase your dream. I'm gonna say that again, baby. I'm saying it again, baby. That's what I'm saying. And you see, I don't have the shades on. I couldn't do the shades. I won't be able to see it, but I got my Scully and Frames. Shout out to, this is one of our brands right here. So, but that's what we do. Let's keep going.
What's the name of that brand? One more time.
Scully and Frames.
Scully and Frames. Check them out. Man. Yeah, man. He was like, don't be scared of the success, man. No, you got to go right after it. Yeah. I think people put all these different obstacles in front of them. Like, they put them in front of them. Like, we're reading another book, or we've read, You Are the Mountain. The mountain is you.
The mountain is you.
The mountain is you. You are the freaking mountain. So to have faith as a mustard seed, you can move that mountain. But what people do, okay, I'll give you a great example, right? I have a play, or can I say, yeah, I got a play I'm about to do. And so the costume designer, yeah, boom, costume designer hit me up, hit the cast up, and was basically like, hey, it's imperative you get me the correct measurements. So what you'll need is measuring tape, the measuring tape. You'll need a mirror if you're doing it by yourself, and a person or a friend. And it's imperative that you give me the correct measurements. My instantaneous thought was, why are you not doing it? Yeah. Why I got to do your job? That's an instantaneous thought, right? And I need it by July 5th. And I'm like, come on now. Right. Come on, bro. Come on. Now, in my mind, I'm starting to build obstacles. Because now I'm living on principle. I'm like, well, maybe you should be doing this, and maybe you. Now, but in the email, they also had a jot form set up through the production company that we're working through. So I looked at the jot form and I was like, well, this must be a normal way of business. Okay. Can I do this? Do I have measuring tape? I actually do. Do I have somebody who can help me? I actually do. So, and I have a full length mirror. So let's just do it, is what I'm saying. Why be pointing the finger at somebody else when I can get the job done? Because that was easy. I'm telling you, it's easy to be like, you.
Yep. For sure.
So guess what? They need the measurements. I'm just trying to keep the main thing. That's all.
Keep the main thing. Listen, wherever you're. So one of the things that the old, this is an old Tony Robbins quote. He said, "Hey man, where your focus goes, your energy is going to flow."
Yes, sir.
You're sitting here trying to do everything at once. It's very difficult, just as we do with an electrical power line. As soon as you start splitting, that the intensity and the voltage just kind of drops down. So your power starts, the power just starts to get spread out, and it's just not as intense. So your focus is the same way. So when he talks about that illusion of multitasking, how do we make sure that we do sequential tasking? Focus on the thing. Use your, where's my little timer? Y'all know I think I talked about this, right, Goose? I use my little timer, 30 minutes to 15 minutes, an hour, flip it off, flip it on, and move through my tasks. And that's the way to go, man. I think that's the only way to go.
Yeah, man. I think ultimately that takes us to 16 because, well, it kind of flips it into it because you got to fight for what's right.
Yeah, you fight on principle. No, you said you fight on principle.
Yeah, I was fighting on principle. But and so there's this discernment, man, that I'm going through right now in life where I'm like, wait, do I say something or do I not say something? Because most people don't say nothing. For example, with Diddy, we don't know everything that was going on with Diddy, but we know some things was going on with Diddy. But when nobody saying nothing, Weinstein, all these different things that happen in big places, right? Like where ain't nobody going, well, I ain't gonna say nothing because I ain't trying to be a part. You know what I'm saying? It gets real finicky. And I don't like how the media, and I don't like how do I want to say this? I don't like how it's not addressed. Like whistleblowers, right? We kind of hear about whistleblowers when they want us to hear about whistleblowers. But in the time that it needed to be said, Dame Dash, for example, Weinstein was on the set of what's the movie they were doing? Him, Jay-Z, can't think of the name of that movie yet. We know it. I'll probably come back in and insert it. But Weinstein was doing some stuff he didn't like, and he got in trouble because I think he punched him or slapped him or hit him. Because he was like, no, you ain't coming on set shooting my ladies like this. You know what I'm saying? But then nobody say nothing. He felt he got blackballed after that. But that's what I'm saying. It's like when you step up and stand up for what's right, how are you determining how you're going to do that? Now, I think Prime actually goes into the fight for what's right.
Yeah, how dealing what's right. Yeah, fighting against what the bad guys, knowing who the bullies are. Even if the bullies are yourself, he talks through picking the right time to actually, to address conflict. The right timing, right tone, and so on. Like you got to say the right words. And knowing how to get through that. I think that was good, man. But also fight for what you know is right. I think that's what you know is right. Now, of course, that's going to be that can be relative for folks. Of course, here's one of the things I think kind of going to your thing to your thoughts of like people are not going to talk. People aren't going to talk. the way, I think everyone's for their own self-interest most cases. And so there's a reason, like, I don't want to get involved, because if I get involved, that means I'm like involved. And truthfully, there's so many different scenarios that can happen where, that can be probably detrimental to me or just negative in some particular way. And I get it.
Right.
That's why people stayed out of the civil rights movement. That's why they stayed. That's why they don't protest. That's why they even vote a certain way. That's why when they observe a dehumanizing act, they don't say anything. We just let things kind of go by. And the craziest thing about it is that when you allow for evil to occur, that's also, I would say, very adjacent to committing the act yourself. And so, like, you at least do, hey,
right,
something,
right. Say something. Yeah. I think it's that it's not the exact word I want to use, but insidiousness, right? There's this thing when, okay, so like I just said about the costume thing. I mean, again, I'm not mad or upset about it. I'm just looking at principally wise, like, well, if it's very important for you to have these measurements, I don't do them, and you get the wrong one, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Just so you know. Because I don't do this. You asked me to do it, but I don't do that. So if that were to try to become put upon me, that's when I'm fighting back. Because I'm like, whoa, I don't do this. That's what you do. Because the irony behind it, and see, I was having a conversation with a friend about this, and the conversation went a little sideways, which was, I'm not about to, well, I ain't gonna say sideways. It came from a different perspective, like, well, I ain't gonna do it. I'm just gonna not do it, and then we'll deal with it. But I was like, nah, that's turning into something else. I'm making it something it's not. I'm actually creating the conflict that I don't want to have in that. But what I was really trying to say is that so when a little thing happens, and Peterson talks about this too, something happens, let's say a little injustice here, and we like, I'm not really worried about it. It doesn't really affect me. Right. You get numb to it so that you don't know. You just don't know. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So and it's the little things that stack up, but also those little things you start to repress, and you're trying to figure out why you were sitting there eating ice cream and you just flipped out, right? Because everything was repressed. Deion talks about, hey, listen, when you didn't fight for that moment, when it actually happened, it's going to haunt you. And that haunting is just repression. So it's going to be something else. You're going to hit your toe. You're going to hit your toe going out the door one day, and then all of a sudden everything is going to come out. You're going to experience something that you're going to see something happens, and it's going to be probably an overreaction because you did not take care of it or address it back when it occurred. So something to keep in mind, good people.
Yeah, and another thing I noticed was, as you would say, a quibble that I would have, and it's not with necessarily what he's saying, but with the words, because I'm starting to, this right-wrong thing for me, something about it, I'm like, I'm in the alignment stage right now. It's like, if you're aligned with it, if this is out of alignment, say something. If it's in alignment, cool, I'm good. So, because right, wrong, I think is in the same frequency of blaming. Like, I feel like right, wrong is in blame. I'm not knocking. I just don't want us to get caught in it, because what happens is I feel like blame turns into a loop, and somebody can never get out of blame. Look at OJ. Was found innocent, and people still say, I don't care what they said. But then they're the same people that say these courts always get on black people. They never treat black people right. And then I say, well, OJ won his case. No, OJ had money. So are we saying that money overrides racism? Because if that's the case, then why don't black people get money? Because the white man won't let them. But OJ got money. That's because he plays sports. I mean, what I'm saying is it turns into this whole, I don't know, what are we doing? Like, why can't you just figure out a way not to be blaming? That's why I'm at. That's why I'm at.
Yeah.
Take accountability and go and dream big.
Yeah. You got to be able to dream. Yeah, that's a good segue. Good segue. But he talks about really creating and innovating. I'll go through some of the takeaways on this one, man. He talks about dreaming that bigger dream. Don't forget that don't dream average, dream big, and always use your dreams to help lift others. He says, he talks about you got to believe in yourself. If you don't, who will? I think that's kind of understanding. One, I think that also comes into understanding who you are, because sometimes, and I think make sure that you're not living the dreams nor the fears of other people, including me. And I think that's really important. Like if Bronny's dream was not to play in the NBA, then LeBron should, like senior should have been like, hey, you should come play. If it's his dream, boom. And even if he's, and it may not even be, we don't even really truthfully know. He may be like, I'm going to play for a couple of years, get my money and go. And I'll be off my daddy payroll. That could be a move. But we always thinking about how we can benefit, our dream is always bigger than ourselves. And I think that's something to keep in mind. He says on another takeaway, he says, life is a series of moments and some of them are bigger than others. You need to identify your big moments and be ready to meet them when they happen. Prepare yourself. When your big moment happens, be ready. It's better to be prepared when the opportunity happens than have the opportunity and not be prepared. Straightforward, right? I want to, and it's like we both, you still practicing. I don't practice. From a martial arts standpoint, the idea is that you are prepared for all the different scenarios. You go through the practice and so on. We play football though. We can at least talk about we're putting certain things into practice. We prepare for different scenarios, different opportunities as well, different challenges. And this is what we will do if this occurs.
Right.
Last two, he talks about, I always wanted to be different. Don't be scared of that. He said, blending in never seems like much fun. If you're a creator or innovator, there will always be people who laugh at you, who say you're crazy, but creators and innovators are literally, I'll add in, are the people who change the world. Be one of those people. Every single one of our heroes, if you think about this, we're all misfits.
Give me one. Okay. Technically, I'll say two at the end of the day. Yeah. I know Malcolm.
Not the same. Not like his others.
I got you. I see what you're
saying.
Right?
Look behind you. Not the same. All misfit. They are not like others. That is something to keep them. They were all different. And I think that is something to keep in mind. Every single one of our heroes basically had to get away from the crowd in some particular way. They had to separate themselves. They distinguished themselves differently in a particular way. Maybe their leadership style, maybe it's the way they spoke, it was their ideas, it was the way it was their resilience, whatever it is. Even the way they're dressing, it just their unique abilities, their unique gifts, all of those things are already, what's going to help you move beyond the crowd, because the crowd don't know what it wants. I'll come back to that. Last one, he says, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Sometimes sticking to your dream requires tremendous amount of discipline and restraint. Sometimes it's easy to give up, particularly if you never see any encouragement. Keep dreaming, but don't just live in some fantasy world. You need goals, and you must work towards making those dreams come true. And I think that's straight up. If you're going to dream big, then operationalize the dream. You have to effectuate the dream, put the goals together, figure out what's the step after step, what's the smallest executable steps we need to take to get to this next milestone. And we have to, I don't know, people don't even think about what milestones are. It's like a marker. It's like we have mile markers, milestones were basically exact same thing. It just tells us where we are on the path of the particular journey. What's the milestone? When we see that milestone, we can celebrate it. Go to the next milestone. We celebrate it again. We don't have to do the big goal. We don't have to, focus on just the big goal. Start to, microtize it a little bit. Celebrate as you go. Stay motivated. Stay encouraged. Let's go.
I don't know. I saw a couple things when you said that milestone. I took it back like maybe in the BC times. It's like there's a big old stone that a guy's holding. He walks all the way back to where he came from. And then will come through that and like, and then they keep going past, you know what I mean? Like to mark space and time. But to also to piggyback on what you said, you gotta speak up. You gotta say something.
Yeah.
And that's right now it's that discernment, but it's when you gotta say something. This chapter I think talks about when he had a track meet and a baseball game the same day. And he had to figure out how to get it done. But there's something. You know what I mean? Like is that possible? Because most people be like, well, I guess you got to choose. Well, I wanted to do both. And he did. He figured it out. And so if you don't say something, you won't know. Last comment on that was, it's another segue. When I think about these individuals, these people who are unique and they do their own thing, you get to see their story. And story is a hell of a time is a hell of a storyteller, right?
For sure.
Because through time you get to see the obstacles, the challenges, the ups and downs of an individual, and see how what they are forged into.
Yep.
Never would I thought Prime would have tried to take his own life. Never. From the outside looking in, I never would have thought that.
Yep.
Had he just ended up not seeing you, be like, what the hell happened to Prime? And then he go with the conspiracy theories. You know what I'm saying? Blaming somebody else about something.
Yep. But I think the idea is how we can get so along. Again, as he talks about, our dream is not necessarily just for ourselves. What he's talking about is like that larger P purpose, or that meta narrative of our lives. We don't even know, we don't know the story of everything as we started in the beginning, right? You know, we talked about Bron, we talked about the Ball family, we talked about who else? Oh, we talked about Deion and talked about Sanders, right? And so, and Coach Prime. And so one of the things is like, we don't know the larger story. We don't even know the impact that we're going to have on each other just by having this podcast. We don't know the impact that we're having just by taking care of people when they meet with a friendly gesture. You don't necessarily know the type of impact that you're going to have. I have a thing I said that we will leave a legacy with every person that we encounter at every encounter. Every single time we connect, every single time you get on the phone with someone, every single time that you disregard someone, right? Every time you ignore someone, that you have a rude response to someone, you are leaving something with them every single time. And do you want that to be a part of your meta narrative on your larger story? I would probably say I want less of that in my story and more stories about like how everything that would be positive. Not saying that everything needs to be roses, because we won't appreciate it as much. But I think when people tell a story about, if someone tells a story about ghouls, all I'm going to hear is the great things. We're going to forget about those things, right? About the other stuff. And I think that's important. So I'm there.
Yeah, I want to shout out that you said that. I want to shout out Jason Louder and Kevin Fredericks and Melissa Fredericks, because, and these are three different people, clearly. But the reason I bring them up is because when I'm in their spaces, it's love, man. I ain't got no bad, and even if there was something, I wouldn't even say it, because the positivity is crazy good.
That's that anointing. See, you gotta know when it's dripping. You gotta know when it's dripping. All right, let me stop.
And it be dripping, because all of them sweat, except for Melissa. But they got them sweat. It be coming in all that. Woo!
One of these. That's what you gotta be ready for. Yeah, man. That's dope, bro. That's dope.
Yeah. And all of those people just to say, consistent from what I've seen, from what I've witnessed, and Tom talks about being consistent. Small, but you got to be consistent in something. He's like 21 days. If you can work out for 21 days, you have now built yourself a habit, and your mind's gonna know it. And you should celebrate that. But I'm really big on going back to what we were saying, taking responsibility for your actions. Some of those people say, hey, I ain't smoke all that weed, I could have did this. If that teacher didn't do this, then I would have did this. If I was in LeBron's position, you know what I'm saying? I don't have his daddy, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To get
look, you know.
Oh.
Hey man, there's a lot of little crazy memes right there. It's like, I think I sent it to you around Father's Day. It's like, I need my dad to go to jails, because you know all the ones that are really doing something, they follow it. It's like, first of all, it's hilarious. He's like, why don't you go to jail? Why you always here? Why you always loving on me, dog? Go somewhere. Don't you need some bread?
Right.
Man, it's crazy right now.
Hey, Usher said this was the year of the father.
Oh, he did. I heard it on this at his BET Awards, right?
Yeah, they bleeped out half of the speech about him. It wasn't even cussing in it, but he kind of put that on himself. But
he was cussing. He did cuss though.
You know, we was going in. But what I'm saying is the part that, because I went in and listened to the part that got, it was like one part that, you know what they said? Mute.
Wow.
They just muted it. But I went and heard what that was saying. It wasn't that bad. But he was just praising the fathers. No Diddy, to be funny. It was very, well, I'm saying all his father-like figures were around.
Yeah. Why is that no Diddy? Why is that a no Diddy though? Anyway, keep going.
When did he be considered a father figure to him?
Keep your promises is the best way to show you are a consistent person of integrity. I think that's really important and a key takeaway as well. Keep your promises. Here's something to keep in. I started to get people to think about this as well. We probably talked about this on the podcast. Remember, let's talk about confidence.
Yeah. Okay. Confidence.
And confidence, and the root of confidence is confide, or another way of looking at trust for yourself, trust in your own abilities.
I love it.
A lot of time, and I always get into these spaces where I start thinking about, like, how many times have we lied to ourselves? You've told yourself. Now, who knows you better than you, except for the Creator? You know yourself second best. Right? So every time that you've lied to yourself has also said, or you try to tell yourself something, and yourself inside is like, we ain't doing that, fam. Right? And so basically there's no integrity. Basically you're split apart. That's really also of course the meat of that, the root of that word talks about basically you're not whole, right? You're separate. And so the challenge here is, how do you make sure that you are telling yourself the truth? Or at least, let's just do this, as he talks about keeping the promises that you make to yourself. If you say you're going to do something for 21 days, then do it for 21 days. If you say you're going to make this particular promise to yourself or to other people, hold to that particular promise. Keeping your promises is the best way to show that you are a consistent person. And one of the things that allows for every single person to garner a better relationship is consistency. If you are erratic, you are one way this on Tuesday and another way on Friday. And if you are this way when we go to this place, if you're this way on that place, if you're on this way in an email and another way come on, man. We don't know how to create a real relationship with you. Not a deep relationship. So I'll pause there, man. That's just a good chapter.
Yeah, because that's also saying that you may not be that way with yourself. You don't have a relationship with yourself in that way. And when people want you to, it's like when you start to understand where you are in relationship to like other people, or we'll just say this, in relationship to yourself, you start noticing things around you that you didn't notice before. And if it's from the depth of other people to the shallowness of other people, it all starts to hit. If I'm having a deep conversation with you and then your attention is diverted to something else, it's like, look at that fly on the wall. I was just pouring my heart out. What are we doing, Dave? What are we doing? So I think in order to thrive in this world, you have to be ready to change, because you will continue to evolve. I think you start from your base, but you continue to evolve into a new person when you start to have the insight that you're talking about.
And he talks about, like, in this next chapter about, like, how do you make sure that we are seeing the full story? And so it's kind of like sending yourself in full reality, seeing the negative and the positive, not just the positive, not just the negative, but seeing it wholly. And then once you have that information, the next section is about being willing to change. It's like, there you go. Once you notice what's happening, once you notice what your reality is, and you know where you are on the map, you can now choose your direction.
Yep. Because if you don't, again, we've said this before, if you don't know where you are, then you probably don't know where you're going. And if you want to go somewhere, you got to know where you are. You got to know where you are, which you can change that where to who. You got to know who you are. If you're someone who breaks your own promises, if you're someone who is not consistent, if you're someone who lies to other people, what I'm saying is you got to just be honest with yourself first.
Yep.
Because others will pick up and others will begin to notice, but it's better for you. So that legacy that you want to live. Oh, go ahead. Well, where are you going?
Oh, man. You just reminded me of this sermon I was just listening to. I got to send it to you too, man. It's from Francis Chan. In a section that he talks about this thing about confessing what is broken. If you start to confess what's broken, then you can become whole, which is a principle, right? You have. It's the same thing we do in the 12-step program. We do the exact same thing for those that have done AA, NA, whatever it may be, or just in a spiritual journey that's used the 12-step. You actually have to admit certain things. You get all that stuff out of you and express those. So that way, now you can have a fresh start. But you can also start to realize, oh, these are the things that are part of me, that's still a part of me, but I still have so much else. And I think that's the other part too, man. And it just came to me. I want to send that to you, man. It was such a good sermon. It had me going. I was like, yeah, especially like in the space of social media, how people will give you more so the things that they keep, they keep the false secret and all the good stuff out there. And in my particular practice, we share with the brothers, we share with our clan, with our group, within our church or whomever it is, in our bond, that, hey, these are the things that I'm challenged with. We confess those things to one another, and then we allow all the healing to come through in secret and all the blessings to actually happen in secret. We talked about that on the phone. Remember the other day, like, one of the best ways to give is do it in secret. You want the biggest reward? Don't tell nobody you giving.
I think that's what the Ku Klux Klan does. They're like, hey, man, I don't want you to see my face. We're gonna string a knot, boy. Like, what? What are they doing?
Yeah, man, that's true. That's true. They wanted to see that other part of them. Yeah.
They're not really giving, they taking. So that changes. That changes that now. But yeah, man, you said something. I wanted to jump on that real quick, but I was like, let me stay with let me humor it up a little bit with you got a little sober and I humor. Anywho, you said something. Trust. That's what it was. Okay. I feel like people don't trust themselves.
Right.
But when they don't trust themselves, they are trusting that they don't
trust themselves.
So you can change the mechanism. The mechanism is what it is. So choose trust.
Yes.
Same thing as in doubt.
Yes.
When people doubt themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what you were helping me with flag football. It was like, you weren't in the position I technically was in, so you could just give me all the love, all the confidence, all the Goose, remember who you are. Give me that Black Panther all day.
All day.
You can run it. You know that, right? Use your legs. It was so interesting to me because I was like, where is this doubt coming from?
Yeah.
Why am I, and then we had that little drive at the end of the game. We started to get beat on. Had a little drive going down like, let's bring it back. Yeah. And then, actually we scored on that drive.
And then they tackled you. Get out of here.
Hey man, this has been I was like, this is the last one we've done up to date, this podcast.
Yeah.
And we're halfway through, y'all. Halfway through. As far as actually posting, let me say that. Posting what we have done. And it has been a beautiful journey, continuing to post daily to get to one like. We done got 16 likes one time. I'm happy for that.
Right.
But it's not about that, though. It's really about doing what we said we were going to do.
Yep.
Making the main thing, which is we're going to talk about books. We're going to have fun doing it, and we're going to be consistent in doing it. And so we halfway through, man. So I'm down with the finish is what I'm saying.
For sure. Same. He talks about it in this, and he said, always finish what you start in life. I think that's necessary to figure out where you can always move from the theory in your head to practice. And then when it goes to practice, finish what you need to do. He talks about everything in life moves forward. He says that if you quit something once, the odds are great that you'll quit again. Listen, you're going to start it. We don't necessarily know when we create a habit. it's just the habit becomes just that hypnotic rhythm, and we start to move into that rhythm, and all of a sudden the way that we function over the years, over the months, over the weeks, and over the days have just become consistent. Something to keep in mind. He says finishing is always the end goal, but remember to enjoy the process on the journey. I think that's he hit something there, because I think if you know, it's kind of like, man, are we having fun in practice? Right? Are we having fun in the game? Now, we may lose, we may win. Of course, we want to win, and we're going to make sure that we do everything that we can to win, but we're going to enjoy this time. It's the same thing for any particular relationship that we're in. Can we enjoy the process of just being in relationship, you know, not dying with each other at the end? Like, that's not the big thing. Is like, hey, every single day we're going to enjoy this process of just enjoying each other, and so on. So for our wives, and you know, and even and definitely for our children as well, like, how do we enjoy the day to day with them as they grow, as we grow together, and so on.
Yeah, man, finding these communicative differences has like been the biggest eye-opening experience that I am currently having. I can say one thing, it's heard one way, or yeah, it was said in a way, and that's not what I meant. You know, we
yeah.
Thank you for clearing.
I just did a do-over today. I said, wait a minute, I didn't like where we started this morning. I came back and I was like, I was sitting here in the office, and I said, all right, we're gonna start back up. I said, all right, let's lay down, let's wake back up. Good morning. Then I wanted to start all the encounters over, and we're gonna throw that out so it never even happened. So I think that's the next move, man. To try to keep it in the process, and then when we can come back, you know, certain things we can't get back. So I don't want anything to stack up. That's what it is. Really, I don't want anything to stack up. And especially in a relationship standpoint.
Right. That's why I'm saying stuff when it's like, that's just me, my bad.
Yeah.
That's cool. That one, I was just making sure, because I thought it was something.
Yeah. If you catch it, they're like, what? Wait a minute. So are you saying it's okay? All right, well then, all right, you know, I love you, right? All right. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's go. That's how you know, like that all the time.
Right. You know, it's a lot like if we was playing flag and I call a play. I say, I don't know, right now 110 blue or whatever, and you in the purple position, right? But yet instead you going to the left, you go to the right. Let's just say that happens.
Yeah, that I think that happened once.
Yeah. Like you line up over there. I'm like, hey, 110 blue, 110 blue. And, hey, Trey.
110 blue. Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Ain't nothing personal about it. I don't think you're incompetent. I don't think. Me and a friend of mine were having a conversation today. You know Carl. Shout out to Carl D. And this dude told me, he said something in the polo, and I replied, and I said, what do you mean when you say this? No, basically, I was giving him an example of, like, if I have this hat, I said, this is a hat, but somebody else says, no, those are sunglasses. And I'm like, what do you mean? Right? So when I say, what do you mean? The way Carl interpreted me saying that, he said, man, the way I hear you saying it is like, man, what you really saying is, you dumb. You don't know what you're talking about. You a fool. And I was like, and then I replied, I said, no. I'm saying that is like, I don't understand. Like, no. Am I missing something? That's what I'm saying. So he was like, he said, you should probably respond differently. You should probably ask the function. Maybe you say, okay, you call these sunglasses. So what function does this serve? So now instead of me saying, what do you mean? And that's still unclear. And what I'm figuring out, man, that's lazy thinking on me. That's lazy. That's a lazy use of words because of where I'm from. I think people understand. Like in my household, we know what that means, but people in the world don't. So I don't know what you're saying. So let me ask a question to help clarify why this is called a glasses and not a hat. So let's start from the function first.
Yeah. So that's good, because when you lift it up in certain like communication styles, and like how do you avoid conflict in that idea of in that communication, a lot of times it's figuring out the definitions of what people are saying first, because how people, like we could, like both of us can say, like you said, that's a hat. You know, are we saying hat or fedora? Are we saying, is it a cream hat or is it bone? You know, like, wait, come on, man. Like, so there's certain things, because we are living it through our own experience and our own filters, that how we see things is going to be coming from within, right? So it's kind of like, what's your so when you say this, tell me what you mean, because I hear this, like Carl was saying, like when you say this, I need to hear that. And so it's almost like we can even add a couple of words, like, what do you mean by that? That actually focuses it in a little bit more. And I think that can be really powerful too. But main thing is just, if we can start defining the things, because everyone thinks they have a grasp on I'll say it this way. There's connotations to so many different words. And so, and we're moving in how we do it. And, you know, within certain cultures, we use the word in a totally different way.
Yeah.
So,
totally different.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, man, that's spot on.
So I take us that way, but what I was really getting down to was my understanding of something is where I kind of find the piece of it all. Like knowing that I understand you and you understand me, and we can disagree, great. Yeah. But just knowing that we just said like greatest player of all time. If I say MJ, you say LeBron, or LeBron MJ, or whatever that may look like, right? We understand the why behind what we're saying. That's usually my biggest thing. Like what are you saying to me? Like the man, the man v. bear had that whole conversation. I know this is the end, but me and Kareem had a really good conversation about that.
Oh yeah.
Can I say? We had to the point where her and Tran were just trying to say I was in my head. I was taking it personal. And I said, I am taking it personal. You're damn right. Because you're choosing a bear over a man. Not only that, you're diminishing what a man is. And he was like, but babe, it's about context. What's the context? You say context is everything. I was like, yeah, you're right. And I was like, what's the context? And the context is the particular type of male that you do not want to be around by yourself. Either that male or a bear. Who are you choosing to have the encounter with? That type of energy. And I keep saying, and she said, no, you keep putting you. That's not you. And I was like, so stop saying man, because I'm a man. She's like, no, it's a social commentary. And I was like, I hear everything. She said, at the end of the day, all we're saying, and then she'll watch and say, I just say that. At the end of the day, she was saying, what do you think, if women are saying they rather choose a bear, what is really happening there? Like, why do women feel that they have to choose a bear? That's what we're really talking about, how women feel. I said, well, let's say that. Let's get to that point. Because when I hear man and a bear, I think me. Because a strange man, because that's really what you're saying, a strange man versus bear. But even so, I may be a strange man to this random woman out in the woods, and she runs toward the bear. And it's like, damn, I'm a good dude.
We were all strange men. We were all strange men to our women at some particular point.
Correct. So her point was, this is not for you, is what her point was. But a friend of mine she said, you're taking it personal. One last story, I had a friend of mine tell me a story about him and his lady and her friend and his homeboys. He set it up like this. He said, well, let me tell you, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. We had been drinking and we was in the parking lot. I said, okay. His girl, her homegirls are having fun with his homeboy. Like, they just talking crap to him, whatever.
Okay.
On one side of the parking lot. He's on the other side of the parking lot, talking some business. So this car pulls up and the dude gets out and starts calling his girl B and all that type of stuff. They responding and they just going back, yakking. And dude get out of the car. He probably about 15 yards away from him. My homeboy comes up, goes to the girl, like, hey, stop talking to him. Back up. Let's go. Nah.
I already know.
So the girl, he said I couldn't control because there was 2 other chicks with him. And he said I could not stop them. So I just went to who I could go to. He says, because 1, he was talking. He was just talking. 2, he talking to y'all girls. Why? This don't make no sense. Look, let's go. So about 5 minutes passed, dude, his homeboys pull him away, this, and the third. And the girls got mad at him and the homeboy, because they said they didn't feel like he protected them, didn't honor them. And he's sitting there saying, I need you to listen. You need to hear, because that dude could pull a gun. He could do anything. He's sitting there talking. I don't think talking. Let's go. I ain't got to go. Let's go. I don't know why this dude would want to get out of his car at 1 o'clock in the morning and argue with you. That don't even already make sense. But you know the big thing about that, Trey? He said, I didn't take anything he said personal. And for some reason, that clicked for the man versus beef for me. I was like, oh, it don't matter. It don't even matter, because that's for the perceiver. I ain't got nothing to do with what you think and how you think about it. Oh,
okay.
Okay, I'm good.
This is what so what I did, I said, when I heard those stories, I was like, that just lets me further know. Okay, that's how you think. Cool. That's cool. What I was blessed to have was like, I know my girl heard the argument and she was like, I'm choosing my man every time.
Right. Yeah, she posted that.
She did.
She had
like,
old post.
What are we talking about? What are we even talking about right now? And also, side note.
Okay.
We need to get out into the woods, because I think there's some context that needs to be established about, like, even smaller black bears.
Right.
Ain't nothing to play with.
Not at all.
Okay? They're not cuddly. You start messing around with Kodiaks and the big brown bears. It's like, hey man, this is the claw. This is one. Like, it's, what are we talking about right now? Anyway, I know, right. I'm about to say no judgment. Yes, judgment still. But, it's just like, come on, guys. It's actually, it also doesn't matter. It's a social commentary. If you have to be in a situation, now there was an article that just came out that I just read that was about a situation with a bear, and I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. Oh. This is exactly like somebody, this is why we don't choose the bear. The bear is a bear.
Right. I think that's all I'm saying. I'm defining it by, well, bears can't lie to you in court, and I'm like, but that's not what we talking. Oh, that's what y'all talking about. Oh, okay, I get it.
That's what it is. Bears can't lie. Yeah, that's right. But they can rip you to shreds in 2 seconds. So there you go.
I was like, okay.
We finished. Thank you so much, Coach Prime, for Elevate and Dominate, man. As I've said before, and I know you said, we both listened to the audiobook.
Yes.
Hey, man, he does it the only way Coach Prime could. And here's the cool thing about it. So this is Deion Sanders right here on the cover.
Oh, yeah.
But on the back cover, that's Coach Prime. This is Deion Sanders, Coach Prime. So shout out to Coach Prime and Deion Sanders for Elevate and Dominate. 21 ways to win on and off the field. Lovely book, man. Appreciate the words. Any last? What are your quick thoughts, man? Last thoughts on the whole thing.
He gives praise to God in this too.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
That was his big thing, was faith at the end. So
yes, sir.
You got whatever you want to, and that's true. Like, that's true whether you believe in that or not. Mm-hmm. Faith is paramount.
You got to have a deep belief in something.
Yeah, something. Got to have meaning in something.
You trusting, like you just said earlier. You trusting in something.
What you gonna trust? What you gonna put your trust in?
You trusted in something, and which is basically just a reliance on the pattern. That's all I say. So I've seen a lot of big patterns. So I think it sounds like Deion has seen a lot of big patterns as well. I'm going to trust in that pattern more than anything. So. Yeah,
man. Come on, that jumping.
With that said, that's right. I know who's over there right there. Hey, listen, this is Trey D.
And Goober.
And listen, we are closing out again with another episode of As a Man Readeth. As I like to say, please continue to read with us, share, like, subscribe, send a comment to us as well. And Goose, we always try to get you to do a couple things, mostly.
Read them up!
All right. Y'all be well. Talk to y'all soon. Keep on reading.
Yeah, look. Hey.